Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to The Nation. You're with me, Tamina Kausji, in our studios at Bernama, and today's topic for The Nation is education and in particular scholarships. Now, I'm sure that always causes a lot of excitement for parents as well as students alike, and we have in conjunction with that Matthew Gan, who is the organizer of the 2017 Scholarship Fair, now in its second edition this year, and he's here to tell us a little bit about everything that they do, everything that's going to be on offer, and what it's all about. Hello, Matthew. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Tamina.
All right. Yeah. It's a pleasure to have you in. So, Matthew, tell us, let's begin at the beginning, so to speak. Tell us a little bit about scholarships2u.com.
Right. Scholarships to You is a online platform, and it's a one-stop gateway for scholarships worldwide. So students can actually come in, view all the scholarships available in one area, and apply at a click of a button.
Right.
So we make it easy, we make it effective for students to get their scholarships as long as they are deserving and worthy of it. Yeah.
I see, right. And Scholarships to You, of course, is your brainchild. You are the founder of this portal. Where did this idea come about from? And is the education industry something you've always been personally involved in?
Well, for the last 13 years, yes. And we have passion in education. I personally believe education is something that changes one generation to another. I mean, you can change financially, you can change in a lot of ways, but with knowledge, only true change happens. So that's why we're passionate about it. In terms of the platform, yes, it is my brainchild and my colleagues as well that help out. And this platform has been refined over 1.5 to 2 years. Right. And various components of the business, innovation and things like that, to realize what it is today.
I see. Now, how is scholarship2u.com different from other websites, other aggregators, so to speak, that also offer fairly similar services? And there are also a lot of long-standing education and scholarship-related fairs, but I would think yours is the only one that focuses solely on scholarships.
Yes, in terms of the fair, there are so many educational fairs. I think every month you throw a stone, you hit one.
Basically, some conference center somewhere is having it.
That's right. So we branded ours specifically as a scholarship fair.
Right.
Of course, it's an education fair as well, where students can come in, get information on the institution, arrange for enrollments with or without scholarships. But the central theme is that every institution that's participating in this fair has pledged an amount of scholarships, which they intend to give out at the fair itself. Therefore, it's a fresh new angle. The market likes it. So on April 22nd, we've got 15 million to be pledged out, actually 15.5 million plus.
Right. May I clarify if that's in ringgit or?
That's in ringgit.
In ringgit, okay. Right. 15 million ringgit. That is an insane and exciting amount.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. So we think there's a lot of value that we give the public, the students, especially strong students. They have every chance to win these scholarships and apply all in one place at a fair.
Right.
Yeah. So that's in terms of the fair. In terms of the platform,
yes, the website itself. So how does scholarships2u.com actually differ from other similar websites that also offer opportunities to just click on a link and find out all about opportunities?
Right. So we've been searching the net for some time, and not to be ahead of ourselves, we haven't quite found something doing very similar to what we're doing. For example, there are a lot of websites that give information on scholarships, but they are like a directory whereby they give the information, but you can't really do anything about it, because when you actually click to apply, it goes to the respective awarding bodies.
I see.
So you click on ABC company, it goes to ABC email. click XYZ, it goes to another company's email. So
Right.
it's not one-stop service center. So
in essence.
the application is still fragmented.
I
Right?
see.
So you have directory websites. You also have websites that do centralized processing, but they are mainly doing assessments. You'll find that they're doing the interviews, they're doing the assessments on behalf of clients, corporate companies, or education institutions,
Right.
third party. So they're not truly unified as well, because they're just a fee for hire to do the assessment process.
Right.
So ours handles end to end, not only the marketing, but the assessment and the presentation of the scholarship candidates to the institutions that are under one platform, our platform. So by
I see.
unifying that process, that makes us unique.
Absolutely. I can see the value, because in this age of Google, I think we're all so used to looking up something and then having to go to a second, even third reference points after that to get whatever we want to do done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So let's say, for example, if I am a post-SPM student or a post-O-level student, I'm looking for scholarship opportunities. How would I, or my parents perhaps, use scholarship2u.com to get something out of it academic scholarship wise?
Well, okay, so our scholarships are presented by a level. So you can say, if you're post SPM, you can go for A levels, STPM level, or the equivalent, and you can search by that level, right?
I see.
If you're looking for a degree, you can search by degree, and MBAs, BAs, and so on. You can also search by a nation. So we're currently we have 90 members from 11 different countries.
Wow.
So you can click and say, I want to go to UK, right? And you just click on the UK flag and you'll see all the options on UK alone.
I see.
So it's quite a self-service portal. So parents and students can basically go in, do their own research, do their own search, and actually zoom in on the institutions that they want. And then they actually can just click and register themselves and apply accordingly.
I see. Right. So it can be a fully online based activity that goes on.
Okay.
But at the same time, of course, now you've got on April 22nd, as you mentioned. So April 22nd at the Eastern Hotel all day long will be the Scholarship 2017 Fair. So what's going to be happening on the ground, which is different from applying online at the portal, Matthew?
Yes, and that's a very good question, because I think online allows us to reach a wide reach of students and parents. That is the power of the internet and digital economy. However, there is always that trust factor, or what they call it, the love factor, which is less apparent in online transactions and online media. So we organize this fair to let you meet the awarding bodies themselves, right? So they will be there in person. They're flying in from all these countries, 8 different countries, and presenting their scholarships and their education courses, options, all at the fair. So you can speak to them, you can ask them all the questions you want, and there and then you can actually apply. With one single form, you can apply to all the institutions or a number of institutions at the fair.
Right, I see.
So I think is very good for students and parents to ask all the questions they want. It's very interactive. You get to meet people and then really just get it done.
Yeah, get it all done on the day itself. Now, what was the response like from educators so far? So we've heard about the student side of it, easy to access, you can do it from the comfort of your home. How about the educators, in particular the 90 stakeholders you already have on board?
Yep, I think we're very fortunate because we've got support from the educators, our partners, and they're very supportive, and they believe in what we do, and that is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, they believe in what we do, it works, the students get the value, and it's all very good. So not only are they on our platform, they are awarding more and more scholarships year on year.
Right.
So last year we had 10 million ringgit to pledge out. This year we're hitting 15.5 million. So we're growing in that sense as well. So eventually, hopefully you get 20, 30, 40 million to give Malaysians and any students that are in Malaysia this opportunity to get their scholarships.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's just fantastic that already it's been growing just in the second year itself. Now, what are some of the more popular disciplines that you have noticed trend-wise that get awarded more scholarship-wise?
Right. Our scholarships are given mostly by education institutions right at the moment. Of course, there's the corporate sector who has not yet come on board, which is something we want to address soon. But when you're talking about education providers, they would usually offer the course that they are offering. So we've got quite a bit of A levels, we've got quite a bit of pre-university, especially for the SPM leavers. They still need to go to one level of pre-university before they go to university, whether it be diploma or a foundation course or STPM and so on, A levels, right? So we've got quite a bit of that for the SPM leavers. We've got quite a strong representation in the degree sector as well. So any degree from the popular ones, business, engineering, we've got medicine as well. We've got sports science, media. So end to end, we've got quite a good cross section of the popular courses available.
Sounds like a pretty good mix in there.
That's right. So this year we've managed to achieve a good mix, and we've got, to top it off, a bit of MBA and 1 or 2 doctorate degrees available as well. So it's going to be really exciting, and I think students can get the whole breadth of courses that they're looking for.
Exactly. Now, requirements-wise, Matthew, what would you reckon are what's the minimum parameter for any student out there who wishes to apply for, in particular, the scholarships up for grabs here?
Okay, so when it comes to scholarships, too often students think, oh, I'm not good enough, or
I'm not a straight A student.
I'm not a straight A. It's going to be too competitive, too difficult to get in and all that. Not entirely untrue, but that's before scholarshipstoyou.com.
Okay.
Well,
I like that tagline. Nice.
So in reality, we're actually actively sourcing for all these scholarships on behalf of the student, placing them into one roof, into our website. But it's a very active process on our side to source from all over the world and to present it through our website. So in other words, what work that a student had to do in the past, as in go and source for all these themselves, we've already done that work for them. And all they have to do is now go in and select. So because of that nature, it's a lot easier to apply for these scholarships, and it's a lot easier to get as well, because we've collected 500 over scholarships, and the total value on our platform right now stands at $4.1 million US.
Fantastic.
So the fare is 15 million. On our platform is another 16 to 18 million ringgit. So with this volume that we have right now, students stand every chance or a high chance to get their scholarships. Now, if they're generally speaking top 25% in terms of their studies, right? So we're talking about 75, 80 percentile onwards.
That's right. Not just necessarily the 99%.
Exactly.
And above.
That's right. So with this volume, we've got a wider cross section of students that can benefit from this.
Exactly.
Now, the other point I'd like to say is some students in the past always say, I want 100% scholarship. Now, the reality of it, also we have to educate the student and the parents that it's not always 100%, right? We've got a few 100% true, but even if it's 50%, you're saving thousands of dollars if you're, for example, studying in UK or Australia.
That's right. Now on that note, time for a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after that with Matthew speaking more about Scholarship 2017. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Hello Malaysia brings you in-depth interviews and important questions from big names to everyday people. people who have and are making a difference. Join Gerard Ratnam every Tuesday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. on Bernama News Channel.
Bernama Today brings you the latest headlines, some lifestyle and entertainment gossip, as well as one-on-one chats with interesting personalities. Begin your morning with Bernama Today, every weekday at 9 a.m. only on Bernama News Channel.
Accurate, legitimate, and packed with information. First on site with reports from across the country and around the world. Be in the know through Bernama News Bulletins. Only on Bernama News Channel.
Welcome back to the nation. Thanks for still keeping it tuned into the Bernama News Channel. So we've been speaking about Scholarship 2017 Fair with Matthew Gan, the organizer, to get the whole lowdown about what this event is all about. Now, Matthew, as you were saying, a lot of students have a certain perspective towards scholarship in that it should be 100% or nothing at all. So would you please expand on that?
Yes, certainly. So in reality, there's a whole range of scholarships available from, well, not so nice, a low of 10% all the way to 100%.
Right.
And a lot of these scholarships that are on our website right now are merit-based, which means for the achieving students. So they're basically three categories of scholarships. So there's the merit-based, which is achievement-based, and then we've got the needs-based, which is for people who need help financially, right? They may be reasonably good students, but they just come from very low-income families, for example.
Right, understood.
And then the third type would be interest-based type, meaning sports scholarships, art scholarship, music scholarships, and all that.
Right.
So these are the three main categories. Right now, we've got mostly achievement-based. So we do also come across families who say, well, we've got money and we don't want to go to apply for the scholarship because we've got money, we should really be paying for it. Well, that's not entirely true, because although you have money and you're a good student, you should still apply for the achievement-based scholarships. You're not taking anything away from the ones that really need the money, because
right.
those are the needs-based scholarships.
Completely different category.
Exactly.
Right.
So what we have in this fair are predominantly achievement-based scholarships.
Right.
So if you're a good student, come over, apply, and do not feel guilty, because you have deserved the right to apply and get a scholarship if you're a good student.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fantastic clarification to start out with.
Yeah.
Right.
And yes, so be realistic. That's the other part in terms of it's not always 100%, but if it's 50%, that's still very good. If it's 30%, the main distinction is you're a scholar. So, and that carries forward in your resume. It carries forward for university and entry and applications as well.
Right.
And it carries forward when you get your first job. So, do not take anything away from yourself. Come in and get a scholarship that you deserve.
Exactly. It is an endorsement all by itself too, getting a scholarship. Right. Now, speaking about scholarships, of course, then comes up the question of who are the institutions which we work with, which you in particular work with. Now, which are some of the world-class institutions that Scholarship 2017 has been able to get on board, who you are very much proud to partner with?
Wow, okay, we've got so many very established 400-year-old schools
Right,
and institutions from 11 countries, as I mentioned. So to single out one or two wouldn't quite be fair. I mean, but in the context of Malaysia, we have helped. We have, Segi in the past, and we've got Dwi Emas, but some very well-established institutions, and who are supporting us in our cause as well.
Right.
So that's within the Malaysian context, but we have number one schools in the UK from and one of them will be coming on board later on, which is Oxford International College.
That's right.
To talk about their scholarships as well as their institution and how to get into really getting your foot into these scholarships and getting into the best university placements that you want. Yeah.
Right, fantastic. Now, speaking about institutes themselves, now how does scholarshipstoyou.com determine which institutions they would like to have on board?
Right. Okay. So we're an open platform.
Okay.
Which means we do not make any decision to exclude or include. I mean, we are welcoming any institution that has a scholarship to pledge. They have the right to be on our platform. So we've got quite a good number now, and the next step, actually, we would like to invite corporate scholarships to be listed on our platform as well. And corporate scholarships at a different dimension, in the sense that they actually award money for accommodation and living expenses as well.
Right, so the allowance, the living allowance comes into play.
That's right. So education scholarships, education institutions usually offer the tuition fee part, but not the accommodation. So when we have both, then we can actually offer 100% scholarships to the best students on all ways, on all areas.
Right, that's fantastic. Very exciting. Now, you have 1 year's worth of scholarship, scholars, as well as the endowments given out from last year. How was the reception like? What was the attendance like for last year's edition? And what are you hoping for this year, come April?
Right. Okay, so we were quite surprised.
Okay.
I mean, yes, we worked towards it, we planned for it, but we were surprised that it actually happened that way. We had a couple of thousand students through to the fair, which was very good. I mean, of course, we're a reasonably small-sized agency, so we can't compare with the Star Education Fund, which has hundreds of thousands. But for our purposes, it was very good response. 2,000 over students registering and coming for a fair. Now this year, we're easily double of that right now. As of today, we've already got 4,000 students registered for the fair.
Good to hear that word has actually spread.
That's right, before Bernama. So after this interview, it would be double that.
Well, hopefully, absolutely. We hope to really get the message out there.
Yes, so we've got roughly 1 month to go, and we might just hit quite a few thousand for this time around. So, and the good thing is we've got that much more scholarships to give out. So
exactly.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So it will be a full day long event. Just for those out there already listening, already tuned into us, what time would be ideal to get there, Matthew?
Well, it's actually 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. most fairs, but I mean, anytime within that. So we've got the whole ballroom in Eastin Hotel.
Right, and we're playing some visuals in the background, of course, of last year's event.
Yes, so there was quite a queue on the main hall before the 1 p.m. So So get in early and do expect some queues though.
That's right, that's right. So come with some patience, as well as perhaps a list of institutes that you would like to see.
Well, the institution list will be already be on the website. So as you come and register, it's all there for you to target and then zoom down right there at the fair itself.
Right, I
so
see.
saving you time, quick in, quick out, and get your applications through. Yeah.
Right, okay. So basically it's first come, first serve basis on the day itself. There's no sort of pre-booking system, right? For appointments?
You need to register online for the tickets so that it's very quick to go in. Instead of filling up forms after forms at the fair, we're digitizing that entire process.
Wonderful.
So you actually just bring your barcode and scan, click, and go in.
Okay, fantastic.
So short queues in a sense that fast.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So as you can see from the visuals, as long as you come ready, you know where you're going. Let's say you've chosen 10 institutes that you'd like to see with your child. Fantastic. But just register online, get all of the nitty-gritty done beforehand.
Yes.
Right. So once again, it is scholarships2u.com. So scholarships with an S at the end, the number 2, the letter u.com, scholarships2u.com.
Exactly right.
Okay, so hoping that you're going to anticipate a lot more traffic there. Now, getting back to the fair itself, now it does sound like a really exciting and very useful platform that you have already premiered. Do you have any plans for the future, expansion-wise?
Certainly, with the success of the first fair and now the second, we're looking at having it in a few countries around the region.
Right, okay.
So taking this model elsewhere. But really, by mid this year, we will be able to actually digitally, go global.
Right.
I mean, .com is global anyway.
Exactly.
So, it's just the marketing efforts that will be more global than just localized at the moment. Yeah.
Right.
So that's our plans, and then of course, with any big plans, we do invite people who are interested in our vision, in what we do, collaborative partners, or even maybe venture capitalists to come and explore what we are offering out there.
Expansion-wise. Yeah. That's right. Now, I'm speaking about how all of this actually got started and collated together in the beginning, before the website went online and etc. The institutions which you chose to work hand in hand with, did they already have these particular scholarship programs existing, or were there any which they actually came up with certain scholarships based upon your requests?
Yes. So, very good question. Most institutions have scholarships to give out, but they give it out in a certain way, sometimes straightforward. Okay. Say if you have 8 A's in SPM, you get 50% off. You have 7 A's, you get 40% off, and so on and so forth. Then you also have some that actually give scholarships but hide it in a way that they don't promote it. So they give it internally to their own students after the students enroll. And then those are two extremes, right? So in between, you have all the different variations to give it out. But again, the main challenge we found was that first of all, the students have to find it.
That's right.
And that's not easy. Sometimes it's the hidden ones don't even know that they have scholarships. Students don't even know about it. And the second part is the process of applying for the scholarships. You need to go for interviews, you need to sit for tests, and then sometimes multiple tests.
That's right.
So because of this too, it makes it very tedious. So again, we've simplified the application process and seeking the scholarships.
Right, there you go. So on that note, thank you so much for your time today, Matthew.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. So for all of you out there who've been watching, tuned in, please log on to scholarships2u.com. We'll take a commercial break now, but when we're back, we will be having with us another very special guest, Yasmin Sarwar, who will be speaking to us in greater detail about one of the institutions represented at 2017 Scholarship Fair. Stay tuned.
Hello Malaysia brings you in-depth interviews and important questions from big names to everyday people. People who have and are making a difference. Join Gerard Ratnam every Tuesday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. on Bernama News Channel.
Bernama Today brings you the latest headlines, some lifestyle and entertainment gossip, as well as one-on-one chats with interesting personalities. Begin your morning with Bernama Today, every weekday at 9 a.m. only on Bernama News Channel.
Amalkan nilai-nilai murni. Ia boleh membawa manfaat dan menjadi teladan untuk semua. Ingat, ada yang melihat. Semarakkan nilai-nilai murni setiap masa.
Hello there, welcome back to The Nation. Thanks for still keeping it logged on to us. Now I'm with Yasmin Sawar, who is actually the Chief Education Officer of Oxford International College based in the UK, and she's here to share with us a little bit about the 2017 Scholarship Fair and her role within it and all the exciting opportunities for Malaysian scholars happening right there on the 22nd of April. Hello Yasmin, how are you today?
Hello. Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
So Yasmin, tell us about why it is that yourself in the context of Oxford International College are supporting Scholarship 2017.
I think accessibility in terms of providing education to students who've come from all walks of life, who are interested in pursuing education in different contexts. I think it's important to provide that platform for students. Right. Secondly, I went to the UK as a scholar. So for me, I'm a Sarawakian and I went to the UK as a scholar. So I think a scholarship does help. Not just in terms of financial means, but actually it gives you a great sense of achievement and pride in what you've achieved. So I think that's really important. I think having confidence in education, as an educator, building confidence amongst youth is so important. So I think scholarship provides that confidence for students to actually go forward in life.
That's right. And it's particularly like what Matthew mentioned, that regardless of whether or not you come from a background of means, you should nonetheless apply so that you can have that on your record.
Definitely. I think as a scholar, you're a scholar for life. And I think that really adds to your whole CV, or whether you're applying to university. I mean, for example, when you look to apply for scholarships at university abroad, in particular in the UK, one of the things they look at is whether you were a scholar prior to your application for scholarship, because scholarship application is not just in terms of financial means, it's a whole context. And also when you do the test, the scholarship test, the tests are based on reasoning. and verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and so on. And these tests measure your higher order thinking skills, and I think that's really important. So regardless of whether you think you will succeed in the test or not, I think just doing the test gives you a platform, because it's a different type of testing mechanism. It's not just based on knowledge based, but also reasoning based. So I think that's important.
Right. So students should definitely keep themselves open to it, and not see it as a hurdle, but as perhaps an opportunity.
Exactly, and it's a learning experience on its own, applying for scholarship and taking these tests. So they should not fear. And knowledge is all something that you should try everything, and you never know what you will end up with.
Yeah, true enough. Now, when we speak of scholarships, Yasmin, the perspective often is that it's all academic. Let's speak a little bit about the other side of it, that co-curricular, extracurricular activities also playing a role within this. Now, this may be in particular a division that might be not quite the specialty of a lot of Malaysian scholars who may have fantastic results for their SPM, for their SDPM and even for their O-levels, but they may have a weaker co-curricular side of things. So what do you have to say to that in general?
I think co-curricular activities are, obviously they're important. We all, since nursery, we've all been doing extracurricular activities. Everyone has an element of music, arts or sports in their portfolio. But I think what we're looking at here is more the thinking skills, because as you go into universities, especially if you're looking at top universities around the world, they are far more interested in your thinking process. So I think that's far more important than any other aspect, because everyone who applies to a university these days would have extracurricular, they have academic, so what else have you got to offer? And it's always down to your thinking process. So I think generally it's yes, co-curricular activities, regardless of how strong you are or how weak you are in the extracurricular section. The scholarship sort of thing, it's completely different. It's about your process of thinking skills. Is about how you get to a certain outcome. So I would definitely say anyone should make, they should just make an attempt of it. And in fact, the actual test is a good platform of learning itself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, the perspective can also be that, I have just finished all my board exams, now to get into another round of exams. So what would you have to say in support of especially the scholarship to you platform, which sort of helps to ease over all of these extra concerns?
I think you don't have to prepare for the test. And I think that's great.
Not a study test.
It's not a study test, so you don't have to prepare for it. You just, this is a build-up of your skills. If you look at one of the things that we do at our college is basically preparing students for aptitude tests, because most of the universities now look and place heavy emphasis on aptitude tests, because they're all based on reasoning, quantitative reasoning, verbal reasoning, spatial reasoning, and these things you don't get taught in school, and it's not in the textbook. It's
not exactly.
Exactly. These are skill-based exercises. So therefore, I think generally, students will they don't have to spend time preparing for this test. So it's literally, you come in, you set the test, and you do the best you can. It's about accuracy, it's about speed, and you don't have to practice. And that's the beauty of it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, moving along from there, Yasmin, what's really interesting about yourself as an individual is that you started off, as you mentioned, as a scholar.
Yes.
And you currently are an edupreneur.
Yes.
Now, what was your journey going from scholar to, of course, graduate to edupreneur, and how did your experience applying for as well as successfully getting into top universities help play a part in shaping the type of direction you took?
So after finishing my SPM, I applied for scholarships to study A-levels in the UK, as well as other, in Malaysia as well. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity of such a platform. I wish I had this when I applied for scholarships. So it was just sort of through just contacting directly, doing your research and so on,
narrowing it down yourself.
and then obviously seeing where is the best place, which would be the best platform. And then I went on to the UK, and after my A-levels, I stayed on in the UK and started Britain's Premier School, which then became a top performing college in the UK.
Right.
And that journey was based on, and I couldn't have done that without having the opportunity in the first place of being a scholar. Number one, it really helped in terms of financially, obviously, but number two, it gave me the confidence that I could actually, I am an academic, I am a confidence booster. So I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. So my journey has been in terms of instilling the values that I have been brought up with in Malaysia, with the education ethos that I've been brought up with, and then it went on with combining the best approaches from the Western world, and I think a combination of both philosophies is fantastic, and that's how it created a very good platform of education, being Britain's brainiest school in the UK. So so that's been my journey throughout this, and now I'm really looking forward to help more students from Malaysia in particular. We're offering scholarships up to 900,000 ringgit, and and the whole idea is, I would love for more and more students out there to have the confidence that I once had, and I think being a scholar means that once you've given that opportunity, you carry on giving that opportunity back to the community. So this is a long-term aspirational relationship. So so it doesn't stop where it is, because you either give back in the form of your role that you play in the society, but also you give back in the if you have the opportunity to give back. You would find that statistics would show that most scholars would want to contribute, because and like for myself, I'm really grateful for what I had, and I would really like to help more students from Malaysia.
Wow, fantastic. Now, speaking about helping and continuing along the cycle of paying it forward, so coming back to university tests again, Yasmin, what are some, or what perhaps one or two university tests that you think are definitely an excellent gauge in general, and that all students should take? For example, some of the more commonly known ones in Malaysia would of course be the TOEFL. So which ones do you personally recommend, and that you also see have proven to be useful for students that you've worked with?
Okay, so there are elements of test. Obviously, TOEFL is English language testing sort of thing. So obviously that becomes a criteria in terms of the application. So when you go to the UK, you do IELTS, which is their version. But these are specific entrance criteria. If you're looking to go to top universities in the UK, then top universities are looking at beyond grades. They're not just looking at your SPM or your STPM or your A-level grades. The most heaviest component, or the most weighted component in your application now, is university entrance test. So there's an entrance test for medicine, there's an entrance test for law, there's an entrance test for for engineering, for economics. So if you're looking at universities like Oxford, Cambridge University, Imperial, and so on, or any of the medical schools, they are entrance tests. In fact, even Singapore, universities abroad are looking at entrance tests. If you look at National University of Singapore, or you look at other universities, they are coming up with entrance tests, and I think that's important to put that these entrance tests are based on reasoning skills. So the scholarship platform test actually gives you an idea, a taste of what it's going to be like when you're actually applying to universities based on the sort of thing. So in terms of the entrance test, there are various versions of entrance tests, but there are some which you have to do to meet the criteria for entry.
I see, right. And without giving away too much or in particular details, what does a general sort of format look like? Is it more written? Is it more about verbal skills? And when these talk about reasoning, does it mean that it's something that you have to figure out and put it down on paper during the test themselves?
Yes, it's both knowledge-based and ability-based.
I see.
So, so the components of both combined together, and it could be in the format of negative marking even.
Okay.
So there are lots of different things to the test. Obviously, I can't go into the details because that will give away the test.
Exactly, and it depends institution.
It depends on the institutions. But the tests are generally in terms of ability and knowledge base. But you do not need to prepare for it.
Right.
You just need to come in, sit the test, and you know, see how you fare.
All right, there you go. So I mean, overall, I think it does seem like something, as you've been saying, as Matthew's been saying, just go for it. If you are a post-high school student in Malaysia, if you're a parent to someone like that, just make sure your child, you yourself, just go ahead and sit for the test first.
Yes,
and see what happens later on.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so on that note, time for a quick commercial break. We'll be back with Yasmin right after. Stay tuned.
Legitimate and packed with information. First on site with reports from across the country and around the world. Be in the know through Bernama News Bulletins. Only on Bernama News Channel.
Laporan pelbagai dimensi memaparkan isu semasa, warisan dan budaya serta pelancongan dari dalam dan juga luar negara. Saksikan jurnal Bernama setiap Ahad 9.30 malam hanya di Bernama News Channel.
Siang hadir matahari menyusuri bumi keindahan alam keemasan. Indahnya panorama menggamit memori melawati seluruh destinasi. Oh, go, oh, go, go. Walindung Sari asalnya di sini. Di bumi matahari terbit menyinari pagi pahang cantiknya. Siang malam menjanjikan keindahan destinasi di sini.
Berita dan informasi sahih, tepat, mantap. Pertama di lokasi, dari segenap pelusuk negara. Saksikan Buletin Bernama hanya di Bernama News Channel.
Hello there, welcome back to The Nation. Thanks for still keeping it logged on to us. So Yasmin, as we were saying now, what would be one of the key things that scholars have to decide upon before they actually start applying for their scholarships? What really helps in terms of academics?
I think the first thing is to have a strategy. Basically, having a strategy is very important. So always look at the end point and then work backwards. So if you have a goal in mind in terms of your career aspiration, and if you're not sure what your career aspirations are, then you need to start researching on it. So having the end point and then working backwards is very important. So once you know a certain goal, a certain desire, a certain ambition, then you work out the strategy of where you want to end up with in terms of university degree. And then you work out the strategy of which school or which college is going to be able to offer you those the curriculum to get into those universities. Because we need to move beyond grades. Top universities around the world are not just looking at grades these days. And we shouldn't go to school for the reason of just getting grades. Grades is just a tool tool of an achievement. The grades is just a tool to get you to where you want to go to, and we must treat it that way. We have to treat our career ambition or career curriculum, I call it. So I call it. We have to treat that a lot more. We have to give it a lot more importance than I think grades, because grades is just a tool, and if you have that ambition and that drive, then grades is just a byproduct, or it's a tool to get you there. So I think first of all is having a strategy of building what your aspirations are and where you want to go, and then working backwards to see what are the next stages.
Right, now that definitely, especially in the South Asian or the Malaysian perspective, it takes a whole quantum shift almost.
Exactly. It's almost like a reform in education.
Exactly.
Because I remember when I was growing up, it was all about, make sure you get your grades, straight A's. And if I remember coming back home and my mum will be, she was saying, well, you had a B in your school report, what happened here, and I think we need to have a shift in education, because it's not about universe. When you go for your interview at the and you're sitting at the interview chair, the admission tutor actually he or she already knows your grades. He or she knows that you've played grade 8 piano, or you've played football at national level. They know all that. They want to know what is your passion. What changes do you want to make in the world? How do you plan to make those changes in the world? How ambitious are you? We have to get our survival instinct back into our children, because they've been given everything.
Very true indeed. Of course, parents with all the love and devotion they put into children. So how does one prepare for that? Especially somebody who might be watching this right now, and they're thinking, okay, my child or I myself as a student, I've got excellent grades, I work really hard for this, I stumble when it comes to speaking, expressing myself, what I really want. So how does one prepare for that very real component of the interview?
I think there are two elements here. One is knowledge, and the other one is application of that knowledge.
Right.
When we go to school, we learn our chemistry, maths, biology, physics, all these core subjects. We give it so much importance. We spend hours and hours going for classes, tuition, tests, assessments, and so on. But we forget our career curriculum, and what I mean by that is we don't do research about, we don't do enough research or there's not enough knowledge out there for the students to understand that I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an engineer.
The bigger picture. Being a doctor.
Exactly. Most information comes from their parents or their parents' friends, and so on. So they themselves don't have that real information about what they want to do. I mean, I always tell my students, even if you want to be a rock star, then be the best rock star.
That's right.
Yeah, just but you have to have a strategy, you have to have some sort of a plan, and you have to make informed decisions, and that comes from a very young age, and you shouldn't just leave it till after you've done your A levels and so on. You should start, I would say you should start this from year 8 onwards, and the best way for parents to help their children, or for students to help themselves, is to do lots of research, knowledge base, and I think schools need to start working on career aspects as well, and then followed by application through work experience, internship programs, getting to talk to people,
keeping it very practical
element. So there's a knowledge element, there's a theory in element, and there's a practical element to a career curriculum. And I think once you have that sorted, then in terms of applying for a scholarship, and in terms of applying not just at A-level stage but also at university stage, you are far more advanced in terms of your ambition and your thinking, and you have evidence-based passion, which means that when you make this application, they believe in you because you believe in yourself.
Exactly. And you have something to say.
Exactly. So having that belief in yourself, having that confidence that you are going to make that difference is very important, because then applying to for scholarships, or just applying for entry into university becomes so much easier.
So that's basically about finding out how can I stand out.
Exactly.
And the standout is not just the results or the activities. Everybody does some measure of the same thing.
Everything does that, I mean, the kind of students they're looking for is somebody who has real passion, who has that grit, who has that character, resilience, perseverance, somebody who's got ideas and want to transform them into something different. People who really want to make a difference, and not just making the difference by getting grades.
There you go. I mean, that can be something anyone can apply. apply.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. One of the things that I would love to see more Malaysians winning the Nobel prizes. I mean, from the Southeast Asia, and we don't have enough Nobel Prize winners. We don't have enough people on the top. In terms. I mean, World Health Organization is run by a person from Hong Kong, a lady from Hong Kong. That's very inspiring. But we need to have more people out there who are winning these prizes, who are going on to develop and transforming the world. And in order to do that, we need to move beyond grades.
Exactly. I think perfectly put in a nutshell. Now, moving into the grades themselves and the career development while students are at varsities, at the university campuses, how do students ensure that they stay on track by keeping in touch and touching base often enough with their careers advisor? And how important is the role of the tutor, especially in the university context, something which most Malaysian students are quite unfamiliar with?
Yes, at our college we emphasize on three things: academic excellence, career curriculum, and personal development. And when I talk about personal development, it's not just about extracurricular, it's beyond that. So for example, we teach coding to all our kids. We teach philosophy to all our students, critical thinking, all those elements, all three elements have to be treated equally with respect, and therefore from a student's point of view, when they are at school or when they're at university, they have to continue with all these three elements, because until you find your role in the society, until you find what is it that you want to do, life is all about the learning journey, and you'll be constantly learning, and in order to be in that consistent mode, you have to treat all three elements really well. So I would say in terms of their careers advisor, in terms within school, I think the school needs to provide that support, that platform, and the students need to be proactive, and they also reach out as well. And the parents need to also understand this is a tripartite relationship.
Very true.
I mean, that's how we look at it. This is a relationship between school, between students, and between the parents. So we have to work as a team.
There you go. Fantastically put. All right, Yasmin, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure. So thanks so much for joining us so far here. This has been the 2017 Scholarship Fair Special. Tamina Kausji signing off with Yasmin Sarawar. Do check it out at scholarshipstoyou.com, April 22nd, Eastern Hotel. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for the news right after.